Ah, Professor Flangewhistle. I should have known it was you, with your collection of mosses and portraits of giraffes drawn in coloured pencils.
What?
So, yeah, a few things to get our heads around, really. It's been ages since last time. And the first order of business is there was more Dark Souls beta, which was pretty groovy.
It was pretty groove taste.
And this was the one... actually, there was two. Because there was the midweek one that we snuck into.
I think you'll find there was actually 3.
What?
There's been 3.
Because no, I mean since last time.
Yeah, since last time there's been 3.
Because we snuck it. Yeah, you might be right. We snuck into a midweek one.
We did. It just sort of happened.
It was really funny. Like people on Twitter, like James Carter was saying, like, get on Dark Souls now. It's letting you in. And I was like, what?
And then notifications on every platform that I have that kind of friend on was like, it's happening now.
Yeah, I think there was probably a degree of people that were looking on the friends list and just going like, why are you playing Dark Souls 2? With that kind of wobbly bladed voice. But it was great. I don't know if they just thought, right, we'll stick one in midweek and then we can test the servers a little bit before the final playtest, because they'd had the issue of, I think it was really more America had stuffed up, hadn't it?
Yeah, the American one didn't work, did it?
No. But the midweek one was great because it just felt like, as well as being sort of in the middle of beautiful Dark Souls 2 and having like an extra slice that you didn't think you'd have, it felt a little bit forbidden.
Yeah.
It was
felt naughty.
I'm sure Namco were just like, yeah, stick it on there. We'll kind of test the servers and we're doing an unofficial one, and word of mouth will probably bounce around. We'll probably be all right because we can see, rather than a million people logging on at once, we can see a steady rise of people jumping in, which is. But we were like, forbidden fruit. They don't know. Let's the lid off the cookie jar.
I think they sat on the Dark Souls server button and they turned it on by accident. So.
So yeah, it was cool, and it was one of those where, because you and pretty much everybody else on my Twitter feed were all like had all finished the previous betas, and I don't know. I was trying to do stuff that that I hadn't done previously, and like the Dual Swordsman was the one that was the least like the Dark Souls that I knew. So that was the one where I was like, yeah, I'm gonna progress with this and see how I get on. And I didn't get massively far with the Dual Swordsman, especially those fat beasts that wobble near the bridges. I'd taken them down with Faram on the first playthrough. Like
Faram?
Yeah, Faram, I think he's the god of war, the one that the statue's being built of.
Okay.
Yeah. I think it's Faram. But I'd sort of taken them out, no problem, with him. But with the Dual Swordsman, it was a far weaker class, and it took a different mindset to get into it. And rather than being frustrated and thinking, "Oh, fuck this," I thought, "Yeah, let's crack on." And so on this sort of the forbidden playtest, I just thought, right, well, I'll see how far I can get with kind of that God of War bloke, and see how we got on. And I did get much further. I didn't finish the demo, but I did see some really cool stuff. But part of the fun of the beta itself was doing the stuff where I wasn't this really experienced Dark Souls player, where I was kind of underpowered, and I think that's one of the things I quite liked about the Dual Swordsman was I was underpowered, and there were certain points where I just ran, and a blind panic that takes me back to the early days of Dark Souls.
Yeah.
And I dug that, but I dug that in retrospect because like part of me was going like, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, are they still coming? They're here. Something else is coming from a different direction. Why?
At the time, pants shitting terror.
Absolutely more. But and yet there was this kind of Homer Simpson-ish sort of quality to it as well, with like it was like run, ooh, nice, and we'd find stuff.
run! Oh, a shiny.
Yeah.
Oh, and there's guys.
Like it. So yeah, it was pretty cool, and when you're running from things and then finding holes and new stuff, you're like, oh, I've got up here. How have I got up here?
Seeing a building and you're thinking there's something in there, but there's no visible way in.
Yeah, I really dug that, and so I don't know. I enjoyed spreading my experience of the beta across an experience which was wholly uncomfortable, and didn't eschew to my natural Dark Souls play style of playing it first time, which was more or less kind of armor up and hide behind a door, and hit with massively heavy weapons. So sort of really bombing it, and having two weapons in my hand, or at least sort of, I did revert to shields at certain points, but it felt kind of cool, and I felt out of my depth. And if there's anything that those early experiences of Dark Souls and Demon Souls did, it was that. And so I was like, yeah.
That's the thing I took. That's probably the same sort of thing I took most out of the beta of my time, because since the last time we talked, I've played it, and yeah, it was that sort of the unknown. It was sort of thinking, right, okay, it's kind of dark over there. Anything could be in there.
Yeah.
It's not like Dark Souls where we've played it a lot. I mean, the fear's still there from time to time, but you know what's coming. And it was just turning a corner, seeing something, and thinking, "Oh no!" And as well, what I liked as well, the fat guys, the Fat Latreks, who I'm calling them Fat Latrek because that's what they are. They're two guys with big double sickle things. Even I beat the demo. I was level 40 something by the end of it. Like, you can level up really, really fast in the beta.
Yeah, I only realised that I could level up in the demo after I was like, I'm not going very far, and I can't. Shame you can't level up. And my Twitter feed went, yeah, you can.
But yeah, I leveled up a bit. But those guys still gave me cause to pause. Like, I still had to think what I was doing every time, and that was good. I think with the beta, I found my groove a bit more than I did with the demo at Play Expo. Felt more like normal Dark Souls to me, not in the way that it was easy. No. But I could, pick the weapon I wanted, pick the shield that I wanted, and progress the way that I normally do. And that was nice. It was, like slipping back into your sort of comfortable play style. And at least the unknown is coming flying at you, but at least I've got some tricks that I know to use.
There was something that I saw a couple of days ago with regards to the Dark Souls beta, and I kind of went, "Oh, you twat!" When I saw somebody do something which didn't even cross my mind. You start off and it comes up with Hunter's Corpse, and then you sort of you go through the darkened sort of tunnel, and you come out and you climb up, and then you go up those stairs, and there's that room that you go into, and there's the big hole in the middle.
Yeah.
I saw somebody going to, because it's pitch black in that room.
Yeah.
And really, you're sort of keeping a torch burning in your hand, and then fighting, because you've got quite a lot coming at you. Somebody walked into that room, didn't drop down to the next level, turned to the left, and smashed the wooden boards out on the windows. And light came through and just lit the entire room.
That's brilliant.
Didn't cross my mind.
Me neither.
Did not cross my mind at all.
Do you know what never crossed my mind?
What?
I never picked up a torch in there. I just walked around in the dark in that bit.
Well, on my first playthrough, I probably mentioned this on the original beta podcast, but it was only after a while where I went back to the bonfire and kind of went, oh, what's triangle trying to tell me? Oh, light torch. But then I'd done the thing whereby I'd gone into that first sort of tunnel, hadn't realised there was a pathway that was going across the middle of it, dropped down, ended up at first getting poisoned and getting sort of rushed at by loads of creatures in like a swamp, but eventually overcoming that and going out to a different bit, and that was my favourite bit of the original sort of run on the beta, because I was so out of my depth and I was just in darkness. I was absolutely panting it. But I love the fact that the game will give you so many ways to play it and almost reward the things that you stumble upon. It's not as if you're breaking the game. It's kind of they've accounted for that shit happening.
Yeah, it's like, if you're going to go the wrong way sometimes, let's give you something scary.
Yeah, but I tell you what, let's give you a real reward for doing it. Because I think in that section there was Fram's armor. So in a chest sort of down there.
Yeah.
So for going in there and getting rushed and potentially getting poisoned and eventually using that witch's cauldron sort of magic bomb thing and running around just flat out panicking for the majority of it, I got a really cool reward, and that's one of my favourite things in games. It was there in the first Resistance. There was loads of that where if you explored, you'd have things hidden under stairwells and things, and lots of that. I love it. I absolutely love it. I love going off the beaten track.
Yeah.
And yeah, there was plenty of that, but it was just, the whole thing was just such a joy to play.
Did you reach the bosses at all?
I didn't. I reached that one that when I originally went back to playing as Faram, I reached the guy that everybody said was probably the hardest one in the demo.
That would be the guy trolling the bridge.
Yeah, no, the Black Phantom guy that was in like a room. I think he was just before a boss.
Yeah, he's sort of sat before a room. You go with this big long bridge.
Oh yeah, that's the guy.
Yeah, the guy who I think of as Pretend Havel, because it's that exact same feeling of, okay, right, I'm doing well. I got past that hard bit, those Red Phantom catchpole guys, they're done. Awesome. Hey, look, there's just a random guy. Let's go see what. Oh, I'm dead. Well, okay, let's try a different way. Oh, I'm dead.
It does make me giggle that you sort of relate so much to the original Dark Souls, because
it's fucking Havel all over again. Seriously.
I saw our good friend Fraction Bastard on Twitter pointed to a video I'd not seen before, and it was a channel I'd not seen before called Dave Control Live on YouTube, and he'd done a Dark Souls 2 lore video.
Right.
And he'd just been through everything, like all the conversations, like before the giants from Dranglake crossed the sea, and all that kind of stuff. And there was some really, really cheeky bits in there, and the big surprise for me was the fact that it looks like Dark Souls is not a prequel; it's a sequel. And there's some definite stuff that points to that, and because there's nothing directly that picks up on, one ending or the other. I'm wondering if it's kind of a world that's ended and
Mm.
has then generations later has begun again. Because there was something pertaining to Salea's covenant, and it says something on the lines of it relates to a once hero, which obviously it could be relating to Solaire being like a prophecy or a premonition and stuff, like a warrior of the gods that or one of the gods that fell to earth or something. But yeah, there was other stuff as well which pertain to, I don't know, lots of lore as to there was something to do with pyromancy, and pyromancy, there's no glove this time. It has to be, you have to use the catalyst.
Oh man, no.
And it mentioned that that there was an original pyromancer, which is obviously Quilana. But there's loads of stuff that references bits from Dark Souls, but does so as kind of like a lost myth, a Chinese whisper that's gone throughout the times, and I really, really dig that.
I dig that. I'm not digging that the pyromancy now has to be with the catalyst. No, give me my glove back. I needed that, man. Oh, you've just blown my mind.
Yeah, so there's loads of that stuff, and in all honesty, all of us were expecting a prequel, pretty much based on the fact that
the Dragon Bridge, wasn't it? Really,
the Painted World, yeah. And like, this must be a time before, and that must be the place that Cease did his experiments and stuff. But no, and the fact that things are so much more mysterious because of the sequel, because it's tied in. That's really exciting. That's really exciting.
Maybe it's not even that far, like chronologically. Maybe, it might not even be that far away in time. It could be far away in location.
Yeah, there is that possibility, and also that one of the things it says in this video is that lands may have been renamed within the time that's passed, but that's just lit a fire within me, because I just presumed it was just a prequel. We all had.
Everyone did.
But watch it. It's Dave Control Live. There's a Dark Souls 2 lore video, and also there's a Let's Play of Kingsfield 1 and Kingsfield 2. And I took a look at the last video, and the last thing that you're fighting is a dragon called Seath, and the thing that you get for beating it is the Moonlight Sword. So there's this. So I'd heard sort of before that From like to take little bits from their past and sort of reuse them. I hear that Patches has been in.
I heard that. Yeah, Patches has been in everything pretty much.
Armored Core, is it, or something like that. So,
is he a dick there as well?
I have no idea.
Like, does he offer to fix your robot and just kind of put in like Jack in the Boxes instead of
That'd be cool, yeah. Fill it with jam.
Fire the missiles, and then just like some springy snakes come out the back of your pods.
Or like, it's like a Jack in the Box on there and stuff.
And then a shot like from Jurassic Park, but it's Patch's face on the computer monitor going just over and over until you die.
But yeah, there was. I just thought that was really cool. So I'm even more excited for Dark Souls 2 now. And there was a great bit on Twitter from Aoife from Official Xbox, who was like, at this time of the year, it's really important to note that it's just over 3 months until Dark Souls 2. So I was
speaking of that, I've been looking at some release dates on stuff. Man, March is going to be an interesting month for me, because we've got Dark Souls 2 clearly and obviously. We've got frickin' Infamous, the new one, which, yeah, baby. Apparently, Ground Zeroes comes out in that first couple of weeks of March as well.
Yeah.
God, I don't think I'm going to come up for air.
I think at the end of February, the Tales of Symphonia gets a PS3 launch as well.
Ah.
It's with a HD remaster, that and its sequel, I think. And there's a lovely Namco Bandai like limited edition with all these kind of chibi versions of the characters and stuff. So I was like, but well, this leads me on to something else with regards to Dark Souls 2, which is a bit, I don't know, a little bit contentious, I guess. But that's the sheer amount of pre-order bonuses. I'm a bit of a completionist, as you know. I've got
how many copies of Dark Souls do you own? Just out of interest.
I've got of Demon Souls. I've got the original Atlas US limited edition release, and I've got the Black Phantom EU release. Then of Dark Souls, I've got the original release on PS3, the Prepare to Die edition on PS3, PS3, PC, and 360. And then I've got Steelbook Prepare to Die edition, the one that's limited to Call of Duty Ghosts 3,000 copies. I was just and so, you know,
that adds up to something like 8,000 copies.
Yeah, it is pretty much like that. And you know, part of me should say give one away. No,
never mind.
And I've got the that beautiful hardcover guidebook, which a lot of the stats of which were nerfed when various patches, lols. Still a nice book, and it's good to look up, even vaguely, kind of what's my progression path for, Lightning Club and stuff like that. And the first rule of Lightning Club is, but yeah. So currently in the UK, we've got Amazon are offering these kind of metal prints, which there's one of 4 or 5 that you can get, and it's completely random as to which one you get. One's the chariot. One's looks a lot like the guy that gives you fire in Vamos. He looks a little bit like Vamos. There's one of Faram, and there's one of the Undead, I think. But the back is kind of etched and signed by the director of Dark Souls 2. So Amazon's got those. Zavi have got the comic book, which is
annoying because that's the one I want.
Which is signed by the writer and artist.
Bastards.
Yeah. Your independent shops give you a Dark Souls 2 poster. Game have got a Dark Souls 2 t-shirt that they're giving away, and I think there's something else. Shop 2 have got an iPhone 5 cover.
Ooh.
I think. But it's still that's still quite a lot of pre-order bonuses.
There's so many.
I mean, I got. Well, we both did. We got our order in early with Amazon, and we managed to get.
Just for like 62 quid or something?
Yeah, it was about 62 quid, and like other places had it for about 90. And I think Amazon, and I don't think, for me personally, and I don't think there's it to be coherent.
There was quite a lot of...
But it was funny.
It was bleary, but it was fun.
Limited edition on PS3. But I was thinking, well, I quite like the regular Steelbook edition, and I might get one on 360, because, I like to fart about on both systems.
Oh, yeah.
And part of me was thinking, well, get the 360 version later, because it'll have dropped in price a bit and that sort of stuff. But I think I might have to get the 360 version from Zavi to get the comic. Because I'd really quite like that, and the fact that it's going to be signed by the writer and artist makes it a little bit special. The game t-shirt looks a little bit shit, really. It's just one print and one colour, and it's a picture of sort of Faram, I think it is, but with a sort of sort of 2 on there, but I'm just thinking that might be in a size that'll bloody bury me. That, you know, if they make them all an extra large or something.
That sounds like the T-shirt I got from the and then a big 2 underneath.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the one I got, and it fits beautifully.
Really?
Yeah.
And that makes me ill.
Nah.
Why don't I have that?
I paid the gold price. I didn't pay the iron price.
The iron price.
I didn't pay the iron price.
Go there.
I paid the gold price. It's a shame on my house.
Well played, sir.
Thanks.
Well played.
Thanks.
Your life is now going to be written by Telltale Games.
Been sitting on that gag for weeks.
Well played.
Thanks. But before we move on from the Dark Souls 2 stuff, I just want a quick chat about the bosses before we move on, because we've not talked about them yet, because you haven't played them, have you?
No.
I'll try and keep it as spoiler-free as I can, but there are 1 or 2 bits that are worth talking about. The first boss that I fought was the Skeleton Lord. There are 2, the Skeleton Lord and the Chariot. I fought Skeleton Lord first, and I went into the boss arena, pretty unassuming, just went in like, oh, okay. Big sort of, not cave, not arena, but somewhere in between. And a place to fight. A bit about the size of maybe, what's comparable? I can't even think of one now. About as big as the place you fight Ornstein and Smo, but it's a cave.
Yeah.
Okay. So you go in, and there's these 3 quite tall skeleton guys, which are clearly the Skeleton Lords. I went in, I'm not sure, they looked like they were sitting on like really high chairs, like they were lifeguards. It got a bit Baywatch, and I thought, okay, well, this would be easy. They're just up there.
I'm sorry. I think you've watched a different Baywatch to me. I don't remember skeletal lifeguards. Actually, they were pretty slim.
I'd imagine that the slow motion running wouldn't be anywhere near as good.
I'd love it if you'd entered that room and instead of some sort of like or any music, it'd be like, I'll be there.
I'll be there. Yeah. But yeah, you start, like, I think they start chucking out magic attacks. I think they start moved around. Like, I took care of them, pretty quickly, actually. It was like, bosh, 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 all 3 of them down. Yeah, brilliant. I did it. Why is there still a health bar? And like half a health bar still, and I thought, why is there a health bar? And I turned around, and then I saw a couple of skeletons coming at me. I was like, okay, a couple of skeletons, I can deal. Oh god, there's more. Oh, there's more. Oh, there's more. All's told, somewhere in the region of 12 to 15 skeletons coming at you at once. It's not the kind of fight that I've ever had in Dark Souls. Like I've never had a swarm, and then because the intention is you have a swarm, you have to fight the swarm. Like usually you can kind of pull things out one by one and take them out, like a cool guy. I've never dealt with a swarm before. And you start fighting through, there's regular skeletons, and you get ones that are slightly more armoured with shields up, and it's going okay, and you're sort of chipping them away, and it's a lot of running away, basically. There's a lot of running away, like run, turn, throw a few attacks out, then run again before they start ganging up on you.
Yeah.
And then it happened. I was doing my running away, as it was, run, stopped. Yeah, I turned the camera around, and what goes past me, not a foot away, a goddamn bone wheel skeleton.
Awesome. Our old friends.
Oh, my old enemy.
Returning to Strictly Come Dancing for the new season, the old favourite, the Bonesaw Skeleton.
And I'm not going to try to cover it up. I yelped. In a kind of, not this again! No! Because the last time that happened, I was in the painted world and I went down the stairs to the sewers and started walking forwards and saw one fly at the darkness and actually screamed. And the same thing happened again. Like, oh my freaking god!
Because normally fan service is kind of like, oh my god, look at that! Oh, it's really cool. But it's like, meh! The nightmares have come back!
We brought back this thing you hate.
Get you, butler.
Great. And I think all's told, maybe 3 of them were around during the fight. I beat it. I did beat it, but it was fucking touch and go. Like I was all Estused out. I was just using the drop stones of healing, which are quite hard to use if you've got pressure on you. It's not instantly. You kind of drop the stone, then you've got to stay healthy for a while it heals you back up. But man, that was good. I thought that was going to be quite a boring fight, and it turned into quite a scary fight.
Uh-huh.
That was good. But yeah, boss 2 is the chariot, or the chariot rider.
Uh-huh.
The chariot rider is not the boss. The horse is the boss.
Ooh, no, be wary of spoilers, good sir.
Okay. It's more of a puzzle.
Yeah.
It's more of a puzzle involving you and some skeletons and a constantly riding thing that will knock everything on its path over. And you've basically got to make it crash before you can do anything, because it won't slow down. You know, can't stop the rock and all that. And of course, the skeletons are fully necromancered up, so they keep getting up as well.
Oh, wow.
And I helped a couple of... I kind of bro-upped one or two people fighting this guy. And it's amazing watching people not get the easy tricks. Like, because there are a few very obvious ways you can make it easier. And once you know what they are...
Easy on yourself.
Yeah, like once you know what they are, it's not so bad. You're like, oh, okay, easy peasy, you know, and then you can just stand there. It kind of, not trivialises it, but it makes it bearable. Similar to the first realisation, you can jump on the Taurus demon's head.
Yeah.
You know, like oh, okay, oh, that's way better. You know, let's just do that. Let's do that. Yeah, the amount of people I saw get run over runs into the dozens, and this was in a short time, a very short time, because the beta was only up for like an hour or two when I was on, and I was just sort of hanging around outside and dropping sign and seeing what happened. And yeah, I saw a lot of people get run over, and you can tell that there aren't any guides out there yet. And there are no kind of, you know, wikis. There was no information out there. So, you know, you can, when you're playing Dark Souls these days, when you have like when you're co-oping with people, you can tell when someone's played it a lot, because they run for the critical points. They don't do anything they don't have to do. Just go boss done. And you really get a feel like you could see people running around, sort of almost testing things. You know, like standing there with their shield up, seeing if that worked, or you know, just kind of trying different tactics and moving around. That was really nice to see until they got run over. But yeah, the chariot fight is more of a puzzle, and was actually quite easy once you've nailed it. But I think that's probably a product of super fast leveling up plus short-ish demo time. I think the bosses weren't the focus of the beta. The focus was meeting up with people.
I get the feeling that it wasn't sort of balanced with a finality and a finesse to it. Because on the last I think hour of the last beta, it said, you know, rebalancing to make things harder. So I think they were seeing how people reacted to tweaking the difficulties and stuff. And I was impressed that they were doing that, and also I thought it was really really wonderful that they apologised for certain things, like actually as it was going on. You know, where if there were problems with summoning and stuff, you know, there'd be apologies, and I just thought that was really classy.
It was nice,
because you don't get that very often.
No, it was nice for them to apologise. But yeah, I had a lot of fun with the beta finally. Smashed all the bosses, really good fun, really good fun. Knocked her out for a bit, co-oped and fought other people, and it was like coming home. It was awesome. But yeah, the fear was there again. The fear and the unknowing, and I think that might lead us nicely into a next segment, don't you think?
I do indeed, Mr. Patrick. Thank you very much. You have bottles of this beautiful moonshine. It'll cure head colds. It'll cure gammy fingers. It'll cure grandma's gout. It's a wonder drug. Buy it from the back of my little wagon here, and I'll be on my way. Only $36.
I'm sorry, are we in Red Dead Redemption suddenly?
Yeah, I have that to play now, actually. As
well. You do? You should. It's good. They've got moonshine.
$4.99. You see, I could have walked straight into that with my wonderful voice acting.
Yep.
But yeah, we've both been trolloping around on Soul Level 1 runs. I initially had had one going on the Xbox where I just thought I'd sort of ponce about and give it a bash because James Carter, friend of the show, James Carter,
Friend of the show from Caden Prince.
Friend of the show. Yeah, we should have like a board and some jingles here. And,
Yep.
well, James Carter, friend of the show. He'd done a Soul Level 1 run on Kanan Rince's YouTube channel. And I had a watch while I was working out in the morning. I'd sort of put an episode on, and not only is it a good lead into Soul Level 1, but it's great for newcomers that haven't played the game before. And James really goes through a lot of the intricacies of playing the game, even beyond the, like I say, the Soul Level 1 stuff. So I thought I'd give it a bash on Xbox a while back to see. I don't know. I mean, just how things would be investing in armor and putting the wiles that have been learned over all these years into place, and just seeing how I got on. And I talked you into it, didn't I? I was like, look, you should give it a go because it's just stupendous amount of fun. So I started up another character on PS3, and we started doing a little bit of bro up together, didn't we?
We did indeed.
But in all honesty, it's happened a good job that we did. Because it's great sort of trolloping around in Underberg, and I am looking forward to becoming a Dark Wraith and then making new players' lives miserable.
Oh, I can't wait.
I really can't wait.
Just to pay it forward,
Yeah. But then again, it is fun to get weapons that are above and beyond what you can use and drop them for new players, and them to look at you with absolute bafflement.
Yeah, I did that I think almost the first time I was summoned in, first thing I did was sort of block the guy's path, drop a Zweihander, stand back and point and go, "It's for you."
Well, somebody did that to me in my Xbox game. I think it was a Black Phantom that invaded, had a bit of a fight with me. And then sort of bowed and dropped something like a plus 15 Chaos Uchi. And I was like, really? But I couldn't use it. So
before we get into it, because we could miss this key point if we don't do it now. When you won, bro, obviously you're picking the Pyromancer, who's the only class who can start on level 1.
Yeah.
What you don't realise about a 1 bro run is just how little of the equipment you can actually use.
Yeah, it's true.
Armor, you can still put every bit of armor on, but because you can never level up your stats, it means you're rather piddling 10 or is it 9 dexterity?
I think it's 9 because you can't even use it. You can't use a bow.
Can't use a long sword. Can't use a short sword.
So I think the thing is, a lot of the crutches that I've used in all of my playthroughs, especially things like lobbing poison arrows from distance and watching things tick down like time bombs. Hello, Anne Orlando. Suddenly, you've got no comfort zone with that.
No.
Those archers in Anne Orlando, I used to, fire like buggery and just wait for one of them to hit and then hide, and suddenly you're up in their grill, yo.
And you're realising, it's that very first moment you think, you're going through the store thinking, oh, cool, a longsword. Oh, wait, no, I can't use that. Okay, I'll pick up a bow. Oh, wait, I can't use that. Oh.
It certainly puts an extra emphasis on when you get things like the lightning ability to bless on whichever weapon you're using. I mean, I'd use the reinforced club in a lot of my run-throughs anyway, my general run-throughs of Dark Souls. So on the PS3 one, I was like, right, I'm going to give the hand axe a go. Because it is the starting weapon for the Pyromancer.
Yep.
But I was just thinking, well, it'd be a bit quicker. Plus, I've not used it, and if I'm going to go through this run, it'd be quite nice to have a weapon that's completely different to me.
Yeah.
So I've quite enjoyed that because I'm now as we speak, the PlayStation Network's down, so I've let back into my Xbox character who's got the reinforced club, and I'm kind of missing the hand axe, to be honest.
I see. On the other way around, I now am in love with my reinforced club.
Romantic love.
I want to marry it. I've actually bought and upgraded. Oh God, how many do I have? I counted last time. I think I've got 9 of them. Because there's literally nothing else to spend your souls on at certain points of the game. You're like, okay, I'm leveled up as far as I can. Like, you can't level yourself up, you can make your gear better. But it's like, I got all these souls going spare. I'll buy some more clubs. I'll have one of every. I'll have one of every type.
Well, one of the interesting things of the Soul Level 1 run as well is that, and this is one of the reasons why I said to you, we should really bro up this, is that you go through Underberg and you can do the regular stuff that you normally do, and you can help other people out, and you can summon people in for you, and
pretty normal at the start, isn't it?
It's great, but you get down to the depths, and the point where you'd normally sit at that bonfire just after sort of all of the little leech things that drop from the ceiling, there's nothing there.
No.
There's nothing there, and that's quite terrifying. I mean, I know when I first played Dark Souls, I missed the online component almost entirely. I just didn't realize about a lot of the summoning and stuff, and I did pretty much all of it on my own. But it's back to that. It instills the fear again.
That holy shit, I'm actually doing this. I'm on my own. But now you say the depths.
Mm-hmm.
You say there's no one down there. I found someone.
I found someone. Go on, Cher.
I say I found someone. They found me.
Mm-hmm.
I got invaded.
Yeah?
In the depths. And I was at the bonfire. I was actually at the bonfire at the time. And I just kind of tagged it, like, boom, boom. I think I was farming the slimes at the time for their green titanite.
Mm-hmm.
It says, you've been invaded. And I just, I didn't quite know what to do. Like, oh my god. How can is someone else one-broing?
Mm-hmm.
Oh god. I cautiously looked around, couldn't see him, went out into the hallway where the slimes are, saw the red phantom coming up the stairway from the side, shit pelted it past all the slimes. I just ran. Turned around, and the red phantom, he was stood at the other end, behind all the slimes, and he wasn't moving, and he bowed. I was like, okay, it's bowed. And I bowed back, and he didn't really seem to be doing anything, so I sort of went up and, because there was quite a distance between us, so I went up and had a little pop at the slimes.
I can see what's going to happen here.
You said no, it was good. He let me kill all the slimes first, and then we had a fight.
You were like, he let me kill all the slimes first, and then as I got near, he unleashed a flame blast which destroyed me completely.
It was a really good fight though, because we were both obviously clearly quite low level.
Yeah.
And it was very back and forwards. Like, it went right down to the wire, and it was really, really fun. I sent him a little message afterwards going, oh, that was awesome. He's like, yeah, it's fun, isn't it? But I hang out down here and surprise one bros. It's like,
isn't that sort of one of the great levelers in of itself, though?
Mm.
That people are more or less the same sort of level. And I dig the monkeys out of that.
Mm. It was fun, just because we were quite well matched as well. I've been no slouch on leveling up my gear at this point, so my gear was pretty, as good as it can be by this point. And I think his was as well, and it was just really, really sort of, really back and forwards. Really, it was never kind of, Backstab Fest 2010 like they usually turn out to be.
Backstab Fest 2010 is now available. Order now and get 3 bottles of orange cleaner absolutely free. There's Chance Jigsaw and a handy keyring for him or her.
Oh dear, I've lost my train of thought.
Do you like trains? Do you like thinking? Try Train of Thought, the train set for people that like thinking.
But I have seen, in our entire time, because we've just finished Orns and Smoog. Well,
this is the thing, that we've had very different experiences on both of our runs of Honor.
No, that was too much.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, the Ornson's move. Well, and Orlando. I mean, basically, and Orlando's bad, but the run up to it is pretty bad as well, because you're going through thinking, right, well, I haven't got archery, and I don't have this, I don't have that, and oh crap, Blighttown, and then oh crap, Sen's Fortress, and then oh crap, and Orlando, and it's just I would say the three levels I fear and like the most. Not so much Blighttown, because it's just horrible. But like Sen's is really fun, but oh god, like I went there on my own because we battered through Sen's in like one go, didn't we? We got through it in like one run somehow, with good old Tarkus helping out, and I went back to kind of get I think I was after the covetous serpent ring that gets your item drops up. On my own, I died somewhere in the region of 10 times in that damn place on my own, and it was all via the dumbest stuff. Like, oh, Snake Man, I'll roll out of I'm on a bridge. Like, really, really stupid. Like, oh, I'll just go down, Titanite Demon. And, just going to quickly dash through here. And, forgot about the floor traps.
Don't talk to me about Snake Man.
Christ. But yeah, Sen's remains brilliant and horrifying. If only for that, the very, very first, 2 minutes you're in there, and you go across the first bridge with the sides, and you kind of go around and up, and there's another bridge at the top with a lightning snake up there. And normally, I don't know about you, but normally I shoot them with arrows. And then you think, what are we going to do? Are we going to have to run across this tiny, thin bridge with these big axes flinging around and a snake person chucking electricity that can freeze me to the spot? It was awful. And then you ran into the floor trap.
But you see, in your game, we went through to An Orlando and we got through to Ornstein the Snow, and we were quite methodical in sort of taking out everything in An Orlando before we went down there, and even had a bit of brave bro action when it came to the archers as well.
Yeah. Well, and just enlighten the audience. What was your strategy for the archers?
Run.
Yep.
It was just like you were trying to make plans, and it was like I was a world of. That was it. You were talking to me, and right? Where have you gone? And I'm like, ha! Just like running in.
It was a brave bro moment and a half.
But we got past them, and I'm sure we maybe 2 or 3 times on Ornstein and Snow, and on the final one.
On my save, we beat it in one go.
Well, yeah, I died just before the end, and it cut out to as my screen faded. I was like, go on. I was like a blind man, sort of listening into to commentary on yours, but listening into it as sort of like, rat me.
I could just picture your corpse on the floor going, avenge me.
You sounded like an old age pensioner being tasered. You were just like,
yeah. I was making it because it was tense and I didn't have any Estus left, and it was literally mano y mano with Super Orn.
We did that at the end of one particular night, and we then had sort of weeks, and we didn't even get to talk to each other because we were both working in stupid hours and various shifts and all that kind of gubbins. And recently we got back into it, and we went to An Orlando, and we found it. I don't know if it was because there was a period away from the game or just because we were being doofuses, but we were finding it really quite difficult. And it got to the point where, to bring you into my game, I was having to pop twin humanities. Ha ha ha. But twin humanities is the I can't even do it for laughing.
Can't even do the JML voice.
Yeah, twin humanities is the delicious bread of life. Don't forget to listen and play Dark Souls by Namco. From JML. But yeah, I was having to pop them twin hums. And when we went to the battle with Ornstein and Smough, when I died, I was essentially leaving a loose humanity in there every time. And there was a certain point where I had to, because we were going through Estes at a rate of knots, weren't we, Patrick?
It was basically just free flowing Estes shower.
Yeah, and why was that, Patrick? Why was it? Tell the audience why. Tell the audience why I was going through 13 Estes before we even got near to Orny and Smough. Because you were fighting like a man with no control over his limbs. your head was just throwing your body at things.
Well, I just got my new lightning club, and I was all like, oh, cool, my lightning club. What am I going to do with that? I'm going to hit everything with it. Whee!
Was it answer 1?
And I thought, I wonder if I can two-hand this against the Sentinels outside. Oh, I can't.
So there was a certain point where I hadn't got Fire Link Shrine at this point, so I had to go back to the bonfire near Andre, which I got up to 20. And I just had the most bizarre happening when I got down there, because I took the cage that dropped down into the main lane of Sense Fortress near the start.
The Sentrance.
Yeah, I got. That was it. I ended up getting chased by the Snake Man there all the way back, and then the other 2 Snake Men, I couldn't even see my character because I was being chased by them. Got to the bonfire, then I think I went in and I was just going to do a run to the cage so I could get back up to the top. But I ran past the first 2 Snake Men, up the stairs and past the access to the cage, but couldn't get in it because the Snake Man stood in front of it. I then had the other 2 Snake Men run through, and I got twatted and fell off and landed at the bit where there's the 3 or 4 kind of lightning Snake Men type thing, the smaller ones.
Yeah.
Then got knocked onto the floor. Then was trying to run in the tar. All of the Snake Men sort of like dropped down and were running after me. Then I was like, oh, isn't this the bit where there's... Yeah, there's the Tight Night Demon. So I'm running like a loon, sort of trying to get to that ladder to climb up and then drop back down and then run back around. And you could have set the whole thing to the Benny Hill music.
It was what was unconsciously been playing in my head the entire time you've been talking. And I could just... Because we were on Skype at the time. And I just was hearing you go, okay. It's not okay.
Yeah, it was the equivalent, because it was probably the equivalent of listening to Ned Flanders have sex. It was like, what? No, no.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, it was fun to be part of. But it just got more and more ridiculous as it went along. But I didn't really have time to laugh at it because I was in the midst of trying to escape. But
it's okay, I was laughing for you.
But I eventually ran out of humanity, and because you beat the boss, we were trying to think how we could meet up again. And initially I thought, right, I'll go down and farm rats and stuff. And then the revelation kicked in. Well, the best place to get humanities, especially when you're soul level 1, is just to go back to Undead Berg and help people out. So we went down there to do that, and we're just laughing at the names of the people that were summoning us in, and
God.
trying to outdo one another.
Yeah.
With the names that came in. I mean, late last night, I met Wobble Trouble, which was phenomenal. Which would be a great renaming for Weight Watchers.
I was invaded by Goochlicker 72.
Goochlicker 72, and
which implies there are 71 more.
I was going to say, dem Goochlickers, yo. And
it's the new covenant.
But we did have one which brought forth more comedy that in retrospect it should have done.
Yeah.
But we just had such a great time with it, and the sad fact is that this person has now followed us. Sad fact in inverted commas, that this person has now followed us on Twitter. So and it really won't come across like what a great laugh we had. But we
I'll try and paint the picture. I'll try and paint the picture with my words.
In yellow.
So this happened in yellow. Ooh, hint. So it was in my world, because we were trying to get summoned into the same world together, weren't we? And it wasn't really working. We were just kind of just summoning back and forward. And I was at this point, I had an outfit on that I wanted you to see, but you were never going to see it. So I'll just tell you what it was. I was wearing the antiquated dress, like dusk, but I had Havel's helm on.
It's a beautiful look, because
I was Mrs. Havel.
Yeah, seeing as you put almost no thought into the way that you'd actually created your character, which is something we've not gone into, which we'll have to mention afterwards.
Yeah. But anyway, I was Mrs. Havel at this point, and I'd put on some stupid weapons as well, like, what was I using? It was something dumb, like a battle axe or a fist or something. It was the Morning Star, that's what it was. I just put on some dumb weapons and some dumb pyromancies as well, like the poison mist one. I don't use, because it's level 1. It's a Taurus demon. You can walk through it at this point. So let's have some fun with it. And I was summoned into the world of a delightful fellow who went by the name of Sebastian Tello.
Yeah.
I summoned in. I said, "Oh, Sebastian Tello," and then we started.
Then I tipped him with he knows Martipello.
Yeah. His clothes are yellow.
It just went on from there, and there was everything that we could possibly rhyme with Trello. And then I said, well, I imagine that Sebastian Trello is just like a rich guy with a cravat on a yacht, with maybe in sort of his 40s or 50s, and he's got this beautiful kind of 19-year-old bronzed girlfriend that's been sort of sunbathing, and she goes, "Sebastian, let's have sex." And he goes, "No, I have to complete Underberg."
Yeah, but my personal vision of what Sebastian Tello was, I didn't get that at all. In my head, he was Russian. He was quite old. He was about 45, 50 maybe. He was a bit grizzled. Big, thick moustache. One of those Russian hats with the ears on. Just sat in like a dirty, like, grey hovel with a tiny little CRT TV. Hunched over. And really being a hero of his time, but the secret hero, like the secret millionaire, is what I thought he was. So he was going around Dark Souls helping people out, but you'd never have known it to look at him.
I think my version was somewhere between Jason King, the 70s kind of dandy, and Matt Berry. But yeah, we had a lot of fun.
Yeah, and two great things happened with Mr. Trello while I was playing with him. So we were trolling around.
Fellow.
He was a cracking fellow.
With a cigarillo.
Fan of Jello, I've heard.
Yeah.
So we were trolling. We beat the Black Knight.
Hello.
Teamed together. It was fun. Boosh. Down he went. And off we went to go. I think we went to fight Havel.
I forgot about this.
It was Havel, I think. And
was this then when the equivalent exchange occurred?
No, not quite. Nearly. We're not there yet. Wait, that's the next one. So we went to fight Havel. It took a little while, because we kept backing off and we kept taunting when we think we'd won, and then Havel would get back up, which was quite funny. And then we were kind of moving towards the boss, and we got invaded by, I don't know what the person's name was, but they were on the stairs where the guy kicks the barrel down in the Berg. And we were, fighting him. We ended up in that little top bit just above Havel's, kind of fighting him. And of course, we were sort of, ranging each other out. And it was, normal Dark Souls multiplayer. Everyone's going for the backstab. I got caught out and the invader backstabbed me. And I was like, oh, man. So I died. And as I was dying, my screen went grey. And I saw the invader backstab Mr. Tello. And it did no damage to him. The invader vanished, and then I just saw him shrug over and over and over again. And I was looking, going, what's happening? Like, he just backstabbed him, he's totally fine, and now Sebastian is just shrugging over and over, and that's how I faded out. So I was like, that was weird. That was fun. I had a little laugh about it. dropped sign again. Exact next game, Sebastian Tello again. Like, ah, yes.
My old friend, my nemesis.
And I thought, he didn't get hurt. Maybe he's a hacker. Ugh. But he didn't. He was getting hurt by everything else. So I don't know. Maybe it was a glitch in the online system. But yeah, he just seemed to be invincible to invaders for some reason. Anyway, so we make our way back up. Everything's dead now. Back up the level. Back to the very top before we go to the Taurus. And before we did, we started doing the usual, bow, point, wave, shrug. Just constant taunts over and over and over again. Uh-huh. And he started dropping items down. I thought, he's dropped some items. I'll have a look what you've got here. And I picked them up, and it was, some simple. There was a Zweihander. There was there was a club. There was a sword. A few of the basic weapons he dropped on the floor. Mm. I was like, what a cool guy. I thought, I can give him something back. What shall I give him? And I went through my inventory, and I dropped a dung pie for him. Mm. I gave him a poopy. And he picked up the poopy, and he did the, yeah! And he then dropped me some rubbish.
It's amazing how much fun you can get from those little gestures.
Oh, it was great. And we sat there for maybe 5 minutes before we went in, just dropping each other all the shit we didn't want from our inventories back and forward. There was a lot of rubbish swapping. It was quite good. And then we eventually went in and, trolleyed the Taurus without too much effort. And just as I faded out, I got a message through saying, thanks, ho, 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 happy Christmas. Mm. I was like, Sebastian Cello, you amazing fellow. you generous fellow. And very... Yeah, and I told him about this podcast that we're talking on. And since he's followed us on the YouTube, not the YouTube, the Twitter.
We apologise for taking your name in vain.
Yeah.
And having so much fun with it, but you seem like a fun fellow, Sebastian Tello.
Yeah, it's probably the most fun I've had summoned into a random stranger's game in the longest time. So thank you, Sebastian Tello. I this Jello in your name.
Yeah.
And hopefully you'll be listening to this, and you'll just get how happy we were by you. So thumbs up. Consider yourself honorary humanity.
Mm-hmm. Woo! Well played. But yeah, we've been having a lot of fun with it. And you started a it sounds dodgy as hell. You started a two-hander, haven't you?
I have started a double-hander. In the time between the last time we played One Bro and this time, I wanted to play some Dark Souls. I was like, I want to play some, but you're not around. I really want to play some. I know what I'll do. I'll try a way I've never done before. So I thought I'm gonna use two-handed only. I'm never going to use shields. I can level up as much as I want, but I'm only allowed to have a two-handed weapon at any given point. I can have a dagger and two-hand it, but it has to be holding it in both hands with no shields. So I picked, I can't remember which, I think I picked the Wanderer possibly. Mm-hmm. It was one of the middle classes that no one picks. Maybe it was Bandit. No, it was Bandit. And I decided, well, everyone talks about the Zweihander.
Yes, go.
Everyone thinks, oh God. Okay, for Humanities, we'll return.
That's the woman you're going to marry. Don't say it like that. He thought, shall I call it Richard, or perhaps Mesesame, or Phalankatar, which is a very exotic name, meaning laser razor in Egyptian. The hit by Starship and Blue Dabba-Dee Dabba-Doo, which was another one of his favourites, and Barbie Girl by Aqua, if you remember them. The butter on the fruit bread adds a certain salty texture to the taste of the coffee, and you've got that wonderful pop of the raisins amidst the beautiful sweet darkness. Welcome back from the land of shopping.
Yes, I've had my Christmas Tesco shop delivered, so our cupboards are now full to bursting with Christmas treats and snacks and mostly jars of sauce. And lots of different colours of cider. So yeah, I've had a lovely last half an hour. Where were we?
We were talking about you were doing a two-handed run, I believe.
Oh, okay, yeah, cool. So yeah, I've heard people talk about the Zweihänder. You know how it's pretty good two-handed weapon. I was like, oh, okay, let's make a beeline for that then. Yeah. So basically, the first thing I did when I got out of the what's his face fight, Asylum Demon, who went down like a punk two-handed. Really went down like a punk. Because you don't block in that fight, you just roll. So I just roll, stab, dead in about 5 hits. I was like, okay, I'll take that. Yeah, baby. Straight to Firelink, straight down to where the Zweihander is with the skeletons. Grabbed it, ran away. Actually survived it. Because I was intending it to be a suicide run. And managed to survive. I was like, oh, cool. I'm out. Awesome, right. Got my Zweihander. Oh, I can't equip it. So did a little bit of levelling up until I was strong enough to wield it, and I haven't taken it off since.
Cool.
The point I'm at in the game, I think I'm just heading into the depths at the moment. So I've got a fair way in. Things I've noticed when you two-hand a big beastie weapon like the Zweihander. It's a very different game to the kind of game that I usually play. I'm a shield up, dodge roll, jab, run away kind of guy. With a big weapon like a Zwei, I find that because my defensive options are basically you don't have any, aside from running away and holding up your massive sword in front of you like a pretend shield. I find that I have to hit them once. Hit them hard, hit them once is the trick I've been using. Using making the most of the R2 attack and the big swings when I've needed it to. I think the R2 attack is a big overhead smash, and that's been wonderful in the inside areas. Really, really good, because you usually find the regular attack with the Zwei. If you're 2 feet from a wall, it's going to clang off the wall. So I've been experimenting, messing about with it. The worst part of the entire thing was probably Capra. Because, like most people, I would imagine, the trick with Capra, armor up, take that first hit on the chin, get ready to get, doggy piled. Doggy piled? Yeah, doggy piled. Let's go with doggy piled. And then, move away from there. But, you can't really defend so well when you get in. So, I was passing the door, lasting maybe 5 seconds, dead. Passing the door, lasting 5 seconds, dead. And I ran up against him over the course of 20 minutes, maybe 10 times. Just in, dead, in, dead, in, dead. But then I got a lucky run in. I managed to get up the stairs for the first time in 20 minutes. I got up the stairs to the side, and I was like, yeah, it's happening. It's really happening. Used the R2 attack, punked the dogs, piece of piss, yeah, brilliant. I thought, right, I can finally actually start attacking Capra, because I've not got a hit on him yet. I killed the Capra in 4 hits.
Well played.
My mind boggles at how that's even possible. And I hadn't even leveled things up that much. It was just a combination of two-handing weapon, big strong weapon, leveling up the strength like a mofo. It's how? It was night and day, because even my strongest weapons that I'd had on my regular run when I'm level 90 with a fully leveled up sort of Kellogg Fury sword, that's the kind of damage that I was doing with that. With this. And I'm kind of a weedy little level 20, outputting 400 odd damage on a single hit.
Sweet as.
It staggered me how brilliant. Oh my god, it's doable.
You should try the Wolf Ring. Lols.
Oh, you fool. But just tying in with the theme of this, the theme of today's podcast. Two-handing a weapon with no shield, so you're playing very out of my comfort zone. You know, I'm armoring up, I'm tanking up.
You're still leveling as you normally would, but
I'm
you're
leveling,
just two-handing constantly.
Only two-handing, not even holding a big sword and not having a weapon in the other hand. No, it has to be two hands the whole way through.
Are you going to survive it all the way?
Hopefully, that's the plan. I've got a couple of backup swords. I've got a claymore now that's sitting pretty, and I'm going to wait to upgrade that a bit as well as maybe a divine claymore. Lead the Zwei, maybe make the Zwei a lightning Zwei. I don't know. We'll see how that goes.
I don't know. I mean, one of the there was somebody that talked me into a lightning Zwei on my first playthrough, and it is a beast of a weapon. It's beautiful.
That's what I want.
I think it's one of the most powerful weapons in the game as well.
That's good. That's good to hear, because that's what I was aiming at, because I like the lightning weapons, and I'm enjoying the Zwei. It's definitely a different pace. But, yeah, getting back to it, it ties in with the fear, which I think has been the theme of this whole show. It's been the fear. It's made it scary again, in different ways than the One Bro run has, because I know in the One Bro run, I'm just severely underpowered. In this run, I do have the power, but I don't have my usual fallbacks of pyromancy and shields. I don't have my safety nets, and it's mad. Like,
You've got me tempted about doing a two-handed run now, especially because part of this stuff to tie us back to Dark Souls 2 beta again. Part of the attraction with the dual swordsman was the fact that I was massively out of my comfort zone with that. So yeah,
they showed that actually you can use a crossbow kind of.
Definitely.
I have no idea what's going to happen when I get to Blighttown. Those friggin' toxic guys, man.
Oh man.
Yeah, right. Like, and there's every now and again I'm thinking, oh, the Anor Londo archers, crap. What am I going to do about those? Because I can't just block the arrows.
Are you still allowing yourself to switch out to bows, or are you not allowing yourself anything like that?
No, I'm sticking with two-handed melee weapons the whole way. So like no pyromancy, no spells, no shields, just big two-handed swords and clubs is all I'm going to let myself have. And I'm trying to not use the reinforced club because it is my new. Well, again, it's a new fallback. Like, I know exactly what I'm doing with the reinforced happy.
Yeah, I kind of got like that with the Demon Spear, which I absolutely adored, but I was using it sort of every game, and I don't know. You want to vary up the experience, don't you?
Absolutely. I think just choosing something you wouldn't normally pick, or like saying, well, what do I usually, how do I always pick up pyromancy? Right, well, let's not have that this run and see if it makes a difference. And 9 times out of 10, it really does make a difference. Like, you play differently, and it forces you to rethink strategies that you might have, thought were stupid. Yeah. Like, you see people online thinking, why are you holding two axes? What possible reason could there be for that? And then you start playing and think, oh, okay, this is why.
There was one that I saw on, I think it was on Sunlight Blade's channel, where someone was playing as Smo, but they were using two Smo's hammers, one in each hand. And I think, if it's the one I'm thinking of, they every time someone attacked them, they just shrugged. I think because the Smo armor was so powerful. They were just sort of shrugging, and eventually the person cottoned on to the fact that they were having a bit of a laugh with them. That person then went into a shrug, and that was the point where they double smashed them with the Smo hammers. Yeah, it was really funny.
That's glorious. But yeah, it's been a good time playing Dark Souls out of the comfort zone. It's been great. It's been really good, and it's good to get the fear back. Be it in the beta, be it in R1 Bro, be it with my two-hand. It's been really nice getting the fear back.
Yeah. So what we'd basically say is, if you're an old hand at Dark Souls and you haven't tried this sort of stuff, just vary it up. Try different weapons that you've not used. Try a One Bro run, because you'd be surprised just how much you lean into upgrading your stats when, if you throw souls into upgrading shields and armor and stuff, you genuinely would be surprised how far you get just with those things alone. And with the two-handed run, once again, you're out of your comfort zone and you're doing something a bit different. But all of these should be, I think, decent primers for Dark Souls 2 as well, because maybe you'll find a play style that's might seem unnatural to you at first, but you might end up enjoying even more.
Exactly right. I love my one bro.
Yeah,
I love him to bits. And I don't want him to. I want to beat the game with him. I want to kill all the bosses with him, because it just feels like that's an achievement, like, yeah, like, and then you think, okay, yeah, I can beat every boss in a one bro, and the DLC, yeah, why not? And then you think, oh god, yeah, Artorias, oh god, Manus, ooh, Calamite.
We haven't gone near Artorias yet, and I believe the esteemed Mr. Carter had troubles with Manus. I can't even think of Manus on.
Sorry, did you say esteemed Mr. Carter, friend of the show?
Friend of the show. I'm done. I've got to do something with my throat for this one.
Okay.
The esteemed Mr. Carter, friend of the show. So yeah, yeah, that's generally the moral of this story. I think we should call the episode "The Fear" as well.
Yeah.
I think that's a good one for it. But before we go, just a little announcement. If you've enjoyed the little offcuts that we've done in the past, where Pad and I have just sort of chatted about games and that kind of stuff, really catching up with one another, but doing
accidentally with the record button on.
Yeah, and doing the stuff with what we're playing and what we're looking forward to and all that kind of stuff. We're going to be doing another podcast. So we've already recorded the first one. It's called Oh, the Humanities. And the first one deals with the PS4 launch and Video Games Change the World, the Charlie Brooker thing, that was on the other week. And we should be recording the second one pretty soon. But so we're going to get this up, and then we're going to put out the Humanities, and I hope you enjoy them.
And you can find that on twinhumanitiespodcast.com, if you didn't know.
Yeah.
No, wait, that's not right. Shit, what is it?
twinhumanitiespodcast.tumblr.com.
Oh, yeah, man. Don't go to twinhumanitiespodcast.com, that doesn't exist.
Oh, yeah. Or go on to the Twin Humanities Twitter. We'll have it posted up there.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
And the other Humanities may be in the same RSS feed. I don't know.
Yeah.
Working on that. Come to the Tumblr site. It will be there. We'll work the rest out from there.
Yeah, we'll figure out the short stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know there are a lot of really good podcasts out there, like Midnight Resistance. Joypod's now finished, which is destroy me. Chet and John's is amazing.
Chet and John.
Recycle Bin podcast, I'm really enjoying. Video game, all that kind of gubbins. But if you do have a chance to give us a listen, or you wanted to hear us ramble on about games in general beyond Dark Souls, it'd be double cool if you check it out.
And if you like it, tell your friends.
Yeah, and if not, don't.
You can still tell them, but
don't mention it.
No, just don't at all.
Don't mention it.
Okay.
Right. Thanks very much. I've been CJ.
My name was Paddy, which we should have done that at the start, but if you've got this far, you probably have worked it out.
We love you.
We love you a lot.
We're in romantic love with you. Never leave us, please. Never.
Your internet clicks keep our souls fired.
Yes. Oh, something like that.
Kindled.
Yeah.
Kindled.
Didn't really think of that.
No.
Got this bit out.
This is kind of petered out, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. See you later.
Bye.
Bye.
Eyes, and he rode around town on a giant octopus, and the octopus had baubles on the end of each of its 8 legs, which people used to think were wheels, brightly coloured, shining wheels. Patrick would love to ride on the octopus, but never decided to give it a name. He thought, shall I call it Richard, or perhaps Mesesame, or Phalankatar, which is a very exotic name, meaning laser razor in Egyptian. And Patrick used to like to get a little Transformers lunchbox, and he would make potted meat sandwiches, and he would ride on the octopus, and people would look at him, and he would go all the way to the pound shop and survey all of the beautiful things there. He thought often about getting a new lunchbox. Some of them were rimmed around the lid in pink and in blue and in green, and some were smaller, and there were some larger ones which had almost a Russian doll effect of a smaller lunchbox, and then a smaller lunchbox, and then probably an even smaller one that you could possibly only fit a penguin or perhaps a club. A blue ribbon might be a bit of a push, given that it's a little bit taller. Definitely not a Twix, unless you were willing to sort of open it first and then break each of the ends off. But Patrick would go around and he'd sing a multitude of songs which would make some people smile, make some people cry. His favourite of which was, "We built this city on rock and roll." And Patrick lived in Portsmouth, and there's no actual proof that Portsmouth was built on rock and roll at all, being a naval port, and probably making its trade from the to and fro of exports overseas. And Patrick would sing these songs, and the town crier would ring the bell as he sang the hit by Starship. And Blue Dabba-Dee Dabba-Doo, which was another one of his favourites, and Barbie Girl by Aqua, if you remember them. Really, it was a lot of shit songs, which could antagonise some people, especially the rich. And the Conservative MPs would go out and put in their very favourite teeth, the ones that were made of disco lights and bits of fish, and try and find Patrick and stop him singing all these songs and make him sing instead a multitude of their favourite hymns, like when a knight won his spurs in the stories of old, he was gentle and brave, he was gallant and bold, with a shield on his arm and a lance in his hand. For God and for valour he rode through the land. Do you remember when you used to sing those at school, and the music teacher would play a little bit of the song on piano to lead you in? Like, you finish it, "Go through the land," and they'd be like, dun 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 dun, and then all the kids would go like all at once. So yeah, Patrick's gone to go shopping. I don't know if he'll listen to this. I think he's expecting to cut it, so this won't make it in. Yeah. So, hey, how are you? How you doing? What's your favourite kind of coffee? How do you take your coffee? Do you like lattes, or do you like cappuccinos, or do you like macchiatos, or do you like caramel macchiatos? Or do you like espressos? Do you like making your coffee at home in a cafetiere, or do you use a metal filter, or do you use a mocha pot like Matt Lees does, also known as a Turkish brewer and very popular in Italy? Do you take cream? Do you have any syrups in your coffee? And
Do you like to complement a beautiful brew of coffee? And I'm not talking about that Nescafe mug. Do you like to complement your coffee with a beautiful food, a complimentary slice of something delicious to enhance and enrich the flavour of the coffee, so that they find solace and magnificence in one another? I would recommend Starbucks French roast, which has got a beautiful hint of blackberry, with fruit bread. The butter on the fruit bread adds a certain salty texture to the taste of the coffee, and you've got that wonderful pop of the raisins amidst the beautiful sweet darkness. Or the mid-range Guatemala has a certain spice to it, a certain itch, and if you have it with something like a caramel petite, the caramel adds a wonderful sweetness to that itch. And if you get the petite and you pop it in the fridge, it makes it nice and cold, so the first wash of coffee just softens the caramel without getting rid of it. And the second one is a beautiful, mushy, gorgeous caramel that's remaining, and it's gorgeous. I hear noises. I think Patrick's back. Let's all be really quiet and surprise him.